I'm going to date this video by saying that I recently watched the brand new trailer for The Little Mermaid. And I am so excited about this live action movie, first of all. But second of all, the arrangement that they have made for Part of Your World, where she goes up at the end, is just magical. I can't wait for this to come out. I'm so excited. Okay, so now that you know that I'm a Disney nerd, on to the topic that I would like to discuss today, which, yes, you guessed it, is one of my favorite things to talk about. Um, Subject line. So I focus on writing email sequences for businesses. That and writing landing pages is my bread and butter. And I write these for businesses that are making $500,000 plus in revenue. I have been doing this for far longer than I would like to admit. But suffice to say, I have had the privilege of working with people who were willing to let me test and learn a bit on the fly, and because they understand that there are really big payouts when you get this right, and they also understand that you don't always get it right on the first shot. That said, there are some general rules that you can follow when you're writing subject lines that you want to have seen, right? That you want to get clicks on, that you want to get higher open rates with. So I would like to talk to you a little bit about that today, because subject lines are a topic that is near and dear to my heart, because I write subject lines almost every single day, and I have a pretty good sense across a wide variety of audiences about some simple things that you can do that are going to make them work better, no matter who your audience is, right? These things that I'm talking about today are going to be pretty universal. So keep that in mind. Yeah. So with subject lines, one of the best things that you can do is keep it short. So in general, people tend to read the first three words and the last three words of a sentence. So I want you to consider that when you're writing any copy, but especially when you are writing subject lines, I want you to try to keep it to 6 words or less, maximum 7, because then you're essentially making it so that somebody is reading your entire subject line, right? And that is a huge step, especially if you really know your target audience and you really know what's going to hit home with them. Writing a subject line that they read the full thing for is a huge step in getting them to open your email. Another important thing to keep in mind about subject lines, and this changes. So this is a newer thing, but I feel like it's probably going to stick around for a while. I know a lot of people are pretty averse to this, but I want you to understand that no matter who your audience is and what you think your audience likes, whether your audience is young, whether your audience is middle-aged, whether your audience is older, this works. Emojis. I know. But if you go to your inbox right now and scan through your emails, because I bet if you're not somebody who necessarily clears everything out, or go over to your promotions folder, if you don't empty that out, and I want you to scroll through your emails, and I want you to tell me which ones catch your eye right away. I am willing to bet good money that it's the ones with emojis. They just draw your eye. It's natural because it's a picture, right? Essentially, it's design, and design draws the eye more than just words on a page. So utilizing an emoji or a couple of emojis in your subject line is going to go a long way toward helping it, at the very least, get noticed, which is a step to getting it read, which is a step to getting it opened, right? Okay. And then another thing that I want you to do with your subject lines, in addition to emojis, using personalization. Now, not every email platform has this capability, and I recognize that. That said, if your email platform does have this capability, I highly recommend you use it. Using somebody's first name in a subject line has been known to increase open rates by up to 40%, which is humongous, especially if you have low open rates. So be sure to check if your platform has first name personalization for subject lines. And if not, you can email your email. You can email contact, email, whatever, your email platform, and you can just tell them that this is a service that you would like them to add, because that's how things change from user feedback, right? And if it doesn't have it, you can let them know that you want it. If they get enough requests for it, that's generally something that they try to include when they do changes, upgrades, newness, new launches, whenever it is. So those are 3 tips that are going to help you write better subject lines. Try to keep it short, 6 words, 7 max. Use emojis. It doesn't matter which emoji. You can use, I mean, there's dozens to choose from. But just look, just try it. You can start out with something as simple as just a smiley face or a sad face, and then do a little bit more research. See if there's emojis that you can use to replace certain words, because that's going to trigger that thinking brain. Again, that brain that only reads 6 words in a sentence. It's going to trigger that. It's going to make your subject line a lot more intriguing. And then the last thing is, if you can use personalization in your subject line, that's huge. And then a little bonus tip, because you can't write a subject line for an email without also writing preview text. Preview text, if you're not sure, is the text that you can see after a subject line in your inbox. Essentially, it's usually 1 sentence. Sometimes it's really short, sometimes it's longer and it's cut off. I'd have to double check. I think that most email platforms, the preview text is somewhere around 40 to 50 characters, and that includes spaces. So it's not a lot of room if you don't want it to get cut off. There's nothing wrong with getting it cut off, but you can definitely get a point hit home much harder if your text is not cut off, right? Unless it's super intriguing and people are like, oh, what's the rest of this say? And then they're going to open your email. But when you write a solid subject line, you also want to hit home with the preview text. Preview text should I usually approach it almost like a subhead. So your subject line is kind of like a headline. It's it doesn't have to be straight to the point. It can be kind of up in the air. And then your preview text gives a little bit of background on your subject line, on what it is that is actually contained in the email. So be sure to keep that in mind. You should always include preview text. It's a great way to get more interest and excitement involved with opening your email. I hope that these tips helped you. Please please subscribe, and be sure to check out my website, writerlust.com, WRITERLUST.com. I've got blogs, I've got more tips, I've got links to my social media, anything you could possibly need to help you learn more about the subjects of marketing. See you soon.